Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at a figure from my favorite group of dinosaurs, the sauropods. It's the 2018 Safari Ltd Malawisaurus. Safari actually gave us two sauropod figures in their 2018 lineup, the Malawisaurus, and I was very pleased and surprised to see this obscure titanosaur, the Malawisaurus, in that lineup. I always love it when we get a obscure dinosaur species that not a lot of people have heard about. Don't get me wrong, I do love the Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, T-Rex and stuff, but give me some obscure dinosaurs that no one ever heard of, and I'm fully on board. Couple quick facts about Malawisaurus before we take a closer look at this figure. It is from the early Cretaceous period. It was discovered in Malawi, Africa, where it gets its name from. It is in the Titanosaur family. Titanosaurs were among the last sauropod dinosaurs that lived until the end of the late Cretaceous period, and they have actually been found on every single continent, including Antarctica, so they were very widespread. So let's take a couple quick measurements of this really cool looking sauropod. This figure is just over 14 inches long from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail, and about 3 3/4 inches tall at the highest point on the neck. So with those measurements, that will put this figure in the 145 scale range. Malawisaurus was about 52 feet long. It was still a big sauropod, but definitely not as big as some of the other giants out there. This figure is sculpted in a very peaceful walking pose. You've got this front foot right here that looks like it's just about to lift up as it takes another step forward. The main body color is this brownish orange color, and it's highlighted by this section of black along the back that goes all the way down to the tip of the tail, and then more black stripes and splotches along the body and going up to the neck. And as you get to the midpoint of the neck, there is some white stripes that form, and then the whole underside of the neck, stomach, and tail is also white. And then when you get to the head has that war paint look that looks like something that Collecte would do. I'm not a huge fan of like that war paint look, especially on sauropods. I don't mind the white along the neck, but I kind of wish when they got to the head that they just left the white coloration off it and maybe mixed in maybe a little bit of that black color instead of the white. But other than that minor complaint about the paint of the head, I love everything about this figure. And here's a closer look at the head. Malawisaurus is one of the few titanosaurs that we actually have skull material from. As you can see, the head is beautifully sculpted. You got the nostril right here, and the ear is painted in. The eye is yellow and outlined in black. The only thing about the head that I have, other than that war paint look, is that Malawisaurus's skull was just a little wider looking than it appears on this model. The size of this model, if they just brought on the head, it would probably just be slightly noticeable, so it's not a big deal to me. You have a nice row of spikes just starting at the top of the head, and then they just slowly fade back into the neck. And I do like these stripes along the neck. You have a lot of nice wrinkles and folds and fine scale detail all the way down the body of this model. Ossicles have been found with Malawisaurus, so there were some dermal scutes along its back. The placement of them is not known, but there are some other titanosaurs that were found with similar scutes, so this looks really, really cool to see sauropods with actual armor to help them combat predators, even though their large size was also a weapon, but it's cool to see them have another defensive mechanism. Another theory about these osteoderms is that they could have stored vital minerals during times of drought or extreme climates to help these guys survive, so it's pretty cool to think of this armor plating as being another type of survival tool. And flipping the figure and looking at it from the back, you can just see how wide the body is of Malawisaurus. That gut just pokes right out. It gives it a very pot-bellied look, and part of the reason for this is that they just needed vast amounts of vegetation to survive, and this probably housed a huge digestive system to let that plant matter ferment and break down so the animal could process those nutrients. And moving down to the front feet, you'll notice the front feet don't have any claws on them, and most titanosaurs do not have any claws on their front feet. They just kind of look like horseshoe-shaped stumps. They kind of got the shape right on this figure. It'll probably look a little bit more horseshoe-like in real life, but that is just really cool to see on that. You know, most sauropod figures we see them, they always have that inner thumb claw, so it's kind of weird to see a sauropod without them. And moving down the body, you can still see all that nice fine scale detail that you really have to look up close to appreciate on this model. A lot of folds and wrinkles along the back leg. The back leg does have 3 claws, as it should. And then turning it over, you can see more of that fine scale detailing along the stomach and a lot more folds and wrinkles. There isn't a cloaca on this one. Usually Safari does give their figures a cloaca, but you can definitely see the area sculpted. It's just actually no slit there. And moving down to the tail, you can see the tail is long and whip-like, and this tail is actually just as long as the entire body. You can see more of those ossicles sculpted on the tail, and they end just about the midpoint of the tail right here, and you can still see a lot of finely sculpted detail along the tail. Alright, let's move on to some comparisons with some other sauropod figures from Safari. And first up is the Malawisaurus 2018 wave mate, the Malawisaurus. As you can see, this Malawisaurus figure is a lot bigger than the Malawisaurus, and in real life, Malawisaurus would have been smaller than Malawisaurus. I kind of wish Safari, if they're going to make a sauropod figure this big, that they would have done a larger species and then just eventually make a smaller Malawisaurus figure. I just feel like kind of was a waste of our opportunity, but that's just my opinion. We're just actually talking about the Malawisaurus, but I just wanted to highlight just how big this Malawisaurus is to this Malawisaurus. You know, some of the sauropods in Safari's line are in scale with each other, and some aren't. I kind of wish it was a generalized scale, because I just love to see all my sauropods lined up in a row and for them to be in scale with each other. And next up is the 2018 Safari Diplodocus, and these two actually look really nice to each other. I think they scale pretty well with each other. I don't think they're fully in scale. I forgot the scale actually on this Diplodocus, but I think they're pretty close in size when you have these two next to each other. And here it is with the 2016 Shunosaurus, and Safari definitely does make obscure sauropods every once in a while. And speaking of obscure sauropods, here's another one from Safari. It's the 2008 Nigersaurus, and unfortunately this amazing figure is now retired from Safari. If you don't have this figure, go get it. I think it's just under $10. This is an absolutely amazing sauropod figure. And here is our last comparison. Here it is with the old Carnegie collection Brachiosaurus. The Carnegie collection used to be 140 scale, and like I said, this Malawisaurus is about 145 scale, so they almost scale with each other. Malawisaurus just is a little bit bigger next to this Brachiosaurus. So final thoughts on this figure. I absolutely love this Malawisaurus. I think the sculpt is great. I love the paint job. Like, the only real issue I have, like I said earlier, was the white paint around the head. This figure retails for about $20.99. You can either order it off of Safari Ltd. I'll leave a link in the description, or you can order it from Amazon. I'll also leave a link to Amazon in the description. So if you love sauropod figures, this is a fine addition to your collection. I highly recommend it. And that will do it for the review, guys. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Each subscription helps the channel tremendously, and I'll greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys for the next one.